What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Masterpiece Starscream version 2.0. So this is just shipping now from retailers. I got mine from Toy Dojo. The link is in the description below. Really good place to do business with. Eddie's the owner there and he does a great job. So let's take a look at this figure. It really is a nice looking jet. It is fully painted. All of the red, silver, white, and blue is all painted on this figure, 100%. There are some things that might be askew out of box, so these pieces here are supposed to peg in. So if you have that loose, just go ahead and peg that back in. And then this one, if this one's not put in place, just there's an over-under, so make sure you just get that in there and situated. These might also be not pulled all the way out, so make sure you have those pulled out. You do have this little gimmick here where you can open up that little piece, but there you go. Really beautiful jet mode. I did have my old Dr. Arkville here, so here's the cockpit. The seat is detailed and painted purple. Not much on the cockpit there, it's just a gray plastic. This does not come with a figure, unfortunately, but you can fit the old Dr. Arkville from the first Starscream in here if you wanted to. I can't remember which figure that came with, but he does fit in there. There are some other features on this, so you can move the flaps up and down here. So if you want to pretend like he's actually landing, you can do that. Oops. You can also open up the landing gear here. So fold that back, close that up. On the back here, open up these panels, flip up these panels, and you might need a spudger to get this out if you can't reach it, but go ahead and get that. Fold it out. And peg it in. So it does lock in place. At first I was like, this doesn't even lock in. It's not going to work, but it does lock in. You got to give a little bit of force. And then close that. And this is what I meant. Sometimes these come undone, so just get those back in place. And there it is on the landing gear. It does roll really nicely on those wheels. They're just gray plastic, but they work very well. We do have a lot of features here, so I'm going to go through those now. Here is the null ray, fully painted in this silver paint. This does transform, so you can see these are two different sizes. In order to transform it, all you're going to do is lift up here. That's going to pop this panel open, rotate this around, close that up, and now you're ready for the short missile. So the short missile, same thing. Just get this rotated out, attach that to here. You can transform it while it's attached. I don't recommend it. I just don't want to put any extra stress on the plastic, but you can do it. There you go. Now you got the smaller pin, and I think that looks better. So you can get both on there. Again, I recommend holding this plastic because it is a relatively thin piece and you don't want to stress it. And get this pegged in. And there you go. There are both null rays attached. Now he does come with a bunch of blast effects. I mean, the number of accessories on this guy is really ridiculous. So you can see I have one null ray in the long mode to show you these. So you can use this kind of burst or charging effect. You can use this one here, which is more like a spread out type of effect. Or you can use this longer spread out and thinner. And all three work. You cannot attach these onto the shortened null ray because it doesn't have that peg. It doesn't have the slot for the peg. So you can't put them on there. But all of those work really nicely. You also get blast effects for the back here. So plug those into there. Sometimes they push the thing in. That's okay. Push those in. And you kind of have to hold them. There you go. And you can angle these any direction. You also get a Megatron gun. Really beautiful, nice looking gun. This can attach to the bottom here. You can see there's a peg on the side It also fits in as a hand, but it fits right here on this mounting point right here. And then if you want to, you can attach a blast effect onto that gun. Just really creative. Now, if you want to set him down with this gun, you're probably going to need the flight stand. I mean, you can sit him on that, but I wouldn't recommend it. So, here is the flight stand. It comes in 3 pieces. You get these 2, which will fit together. And then you can take this part here, and that's just going to peg in. You can see there's 4 tabs, and then this can move any direction. So you can just kind of slot it in wherever you like. And then this has its own articulation up here. So you can move this forward and backwards and then side to side. They are on screws, so if it gets loose, you can tighten the screws. I like when they do stuff like that, just in case it does get loose. And you do need an adapter, so here's the adapter for the stand. I assume this stand works with other figures as well. So go ahead and take the Megatron gun off, and you're going to need that spot for this. So basically that's going to fit into there, just like that. Nice clear piece. Then that's going to sit on here. Once you get that on there, you can kind of angle this jet or however you like. So it can be diving or taking off, and you can really make use of these blast effects. But that really works well. It's a nice stand. I think they did a good job with this overall. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into his robot mode. A relatively interesting transformation and not too difficult, but some tricky parts. Go ahead and detach these null rays. You can get them rotated around and just leave them out here for now. They're going to kind of get in your way. I'm going to probably detach them. I would recommend detaching them, but you can transform it with that on there. Oops. And so we'll just leave those like that for now. And we do have to transform this one since we didn't, this one's already transformed in the null array. Go ahead and open up. Alright, it already came off, so I'm just going to leave it off. Open up this, flip this around, close that back up, and then peg that back in, and that's ready for use as a null array. Right. Maybe what I'll do is leave one attached and one detached. You can see kind of how this ends up. Come to the back here. Actually, you know what? Let's close up the landing gear first. Open these up, fold those in, and then close that up. Same in the front here. Close that in. All right, now we're ready. And this is kind of the first step. You just detach it from here. And this entire panel, or this entire piece is going to roll down. So you can get those folded and then rotate that down. Right? You can actually fold up these, and that'll allow you to get this down a little bit more. Open up the legs, basically separate them. Unpeg from here, so there's a little tab right there, and then open that up. It's going to allow you to get this foot and peg that in right there. Don't forget that step. It is actually pretty easy to forget that. Fold out this panel here, and then we're going to accordion this leg outwards on this transformation joint. Oops, on this transformation joint here. And it is a little bit tricky. You kind of have to get it released. So you can see now it's released. Before it was kind of tabbed in there. All right, so release that, fold that down. It's going to tab into the top now, so now I can see it's locked in there. Come to this piece here, and you're going to lift this down, rotate that around, and then you're going to take that entire panel, oops, and that's going to rotate in, and going to fit inside of his legs. Really cool little transformation there. There's 2 tabs you have to fit into on the way back, so one here, and then one here on the inside. So get those 2 tabs in, and make sure you actually get it tabbed. There you go. And it should look like something like that. can do the other one now. Now the order operations in the instructions may be different. I'm just showing you the way I think it makes more sense. But so same as I say, go ahead and open up that, flip open this panel, fold down the foot, tab it in, fold out this panel. You're going to pull the leg down and it's going to lock into place. There is a tabbing point there, so you got to get that tabbed in. Again, push this down, rotate that around, flip this panel to the other side. And then this is going to fit inside his leg, nice and neat and tidy. And make sure you get this top part tabbed in as well, right? The bottom and the top. Right. And yes, he does have a Gerwalk mode. Oops, we lost our hip skirts here. Get those rotated all the way forward if you're trying to do the Gerwalk mode. So in order to do that, we're going to take these panels, rotate this around, and like that. And then they say to push this down. I guess they made this mode specifically for this, but very interesting. Rotate this around and then push that down. All right, next go ahead and get these folded in, and then you're going to fold these wings down. Same on this side, fold this in, fold those wings down. And I guess you take these guns off, you don't really need them. Or you can leave them on, whatever you prefer. But there is your Gerwalk mode. I don't know. It seems kind of silly and unnecessary. But you can do it if you like. Me personally, I would never do this. Right now, in order to get him into the robot mode, we kind of have to undo a little bit of this. So some of this is actually intentionally made just for the Gerwalk mode, which is interesting. I never would have thought they would have designed changes just for this, but you go ahead and get those out of the way. You can unpeg this from the front and basically get that panel out of there. If this hasn't already come unpegged, you're going to unpeg those as well. You just fold this back for now. That's going to allow us to take these panels and flip those upwards. And they are supposedly pegged in here, but they don't stay all that well. It doesn't affect anything, but it doesn't stay all that well. Alright. So we have those sort of out of the way. You can see everything that's under here. You can straighten up the legs. So on the back here, go ahead and take these arms, and they did kind of fold themselves out, but we're going to take care of these next. So these are on a rotating joint here. So get those rotated out. And then same on this side, and you can see how the back of the arm came together right here. It does kind of peg into the back there. Right? We do have to get these arms out of the way. So those are going to rotate outwards. And then if you can move this panel out of the way, you can rotate them to the front. And that just gets them out of the way so that we can work on stuff. This one. And I did one arm with the null ray, so you can see you can transform it with the null ray attached. Alright. So just leave those arms forward and out of the way. That's going to give us the most room to work. Alright, come back here again. Rotate these so they're sitting like this. And that's going to give us room to work in here. Right? You're going to get this panel, and that's going to basically accordion to sit flat. Come to the inside here, and it does have the traditional spring-loaded ears for Starscream here. Go ahead and take his head, lift it up just a bit. That's going to allow you to get these panels out of here. These are his abs. Straighten up the ab crunch here, and that'll allow you to get these panels folded to the side. Same on this side. Fold his ab out to the side. Right. Now I'm going to take care of the backpack here. Go ahead and get these out of the way. Just give us a little room. Fold the wings up on these joints here. There's actually a couple of joints, so just make sure you get the right one. And then that'll allow you to take these panels, fold them to the outside. So they're sitting just flat up against this. Take these, rotate those up like that. And now you can take this entire panel, and that's going to peg right there. There's actually two pegs, one on this side, one on this side, and they're going to fit together like that. And then you're going to take this piece, and this was the problem with the original. They've fixed it here, so it pegs in really securely. I think they wanted to make sure it's not going to come out. But so there's 1, 2, 3 pegs holding all that together. All right. So same on this side. Get this peg together. Get that into the back. Rotate that up. And I think that's it. All right. Now we can take care of this cockpit piece here. So go ahead and rotate this back. And this is where things are really unique. The engineering on this is just brilliant. This was scary the first time, but you do have to rotate this. It doesn't feel right, but you do have to rotate that. And that's going to allow you to take this and fold that nose cone down. All right, go ahead and come in here, and this is where the magic happens on this figure. Pretty interesting the way it works. We're just going to take Dr. Articulation out of there because he fell out anyway. And you need to basically collapse this down. And it's interesting. It doesn't feel very good, but go ahead and get this rotated up and out. And then we're going to take this panel here, and it does have to kind of come apart here. All right, so you should get it like that. You can see how that's going to accordion down. Fold this seat in, and that'll allow you to get this down, fold these two panels down, and now that's going to collapse. Make sure you have this nose cone in. All right, now that we have that compressed up, that's all going to go and sit inside the chest. And then this piece here, which was just sitting on the back there, and make sure you have that in there, that's going to tab into the back of, or the bottom of that fuselage. So it's going to kind of solidify all that. Come to the top here, rotate this panel around. That's going to come down and just sit. It doesn't really peg in or anything. It just kind of sits on top. Oh, and looks like this came undone, so put that back in. Come to the front here and bring his arms down. Actually, let's take care of the wings first. Coming into here, and again, this is probably a feature. It looks like he's got a whole bunch of bombs and painted accessories. They didn't need to do this. They painted the inside of the wings with the gray and the purple. I guess you could, on the bottom of the jet mode, you could open this up and there'd be a whole bunch of bombs there. All right, next go ahead and take these flaps and fold them down and in. They're going to sit in there. Take this piece, fold that down, and then this is going to tab into there. So just get that tabbed in. And now that's all secure inside that wing. Nothing's flopping around. All right, same on this side. I'll show you again. Fold this down. Fold in your flaps. Fold this down. Rotate this around. Get that pegged in. Now this doesn't really, it just kind of sits there. It doesn't really peg in. But this is what secures it. So make sure you get that tab in. And there's your nice secure backpack. Come to the front here. We'll take care of these arms. So go ahead and get the butterfly joint folded inwards. That this thing can sit down. Come to the arms. And oops. And this is one reason I mentioned you might want to just have these detached during transformation. But I did show you one with and one without. Go ahead and open that up and flip out the hand. Flip the hand around, then close this panel up. On my copy, this kind of pops open, unfortunately, but it doesn't really affect anything. Final steps here, go ahead and take the other side, get the hand flipped out, rotate it around, tab that back in. Take these pylons, you can see there's a little tab right there, so these are going to flip back and basically peg into that little tab. And then you got to stick a finger in here and have this angled forward like that. Same on this side, fold that back, get it tabbed in onto his back, and then fold that forward. Going to take the knee pads, and these are going to be pushed upwards. And then finally take his other null ray. And since we didn't transform this one at a time, we'll do that now. Go ahead and flip this out. That'll give you a little lead here. Fold that around, close that back up. Make sure you have it configured like that, and then you can get that plugged in. There's Starscream all transformed up into his robot mode. We'll put the G1 cartoon image there so you can take a look. Really, really well done. Nice and clean. The back padding is pretty tight, although in some images it did look like it was messy. It's very clean, very solid. You know, nothing sticking out, not much for kibble. Everything is looking really good and clean on this guy. I think they also rounded off a lot of the edges on the chest, on the arms, on the legs, and that's to really get that G1 cartoon look. So I think they did a good job on that. Now on some of this review I did film pieces with these pylons not back like that, so you will see some images like that. But just know they should be pushed back for the robot mode. So let's go over Starscream's articulation here. Starting the head is on a swivel, rotating swivel, so it goes all the way up to there, rotates around. You can lift it up on this neck and bring it forward, so you can get it really far down if you need to. He's not that tall, but still you can do that. Arms rotate around on a soft ratchet here. They go up to there. You can also use this joint to come out to here, and you can use this joint to get a butterfly, so he really has a ton of movement on the shoulder, just like some of their more recent figures. Rotation at the bicep. You have a bend here at the elbow that gets you well past 90 degrees. You could untransform this arm a little bit to get it a little bit further. So if you wanted to, you could untransform that, and then you can get it the full bend. So you pretty much can do whatever you want there. Rotation at the wrist. The wrist hinges in and out. The fingers are individually articulated, and so you have two pins, one here and one here. And then the thumb is on a hinge there, and then a second hinge in the middle. So you can get some expressive things out of those hands. No waist swivel, but you do have an ab crunch. The way it works is a little interesting. As you bend, it's right here. So as you bend forward, it untabs this. This still stays connected, but it does untab that. So it does work. It's just a little bit different than what we're used to. You get these hip skirts out of the way. Rotates up to there. Out to the side on a soft ratchet. Not much back. It gets hindered here. Gets stuck. Rotation at the thigh. You have well past 90 degrees on the knee. You have ankle tilt up to there, out to there, forward and backwards. The toe and the heel move together. If you need more space, you can open that up and it'll get you further back. So you can get a lot out of those hips. It's a pretty nice articulation on this guy. Another feature you do have here in the robot mode is the Booby missiles. Of course, they are painted purple and gray. They look really good. Nice little inclusion there. So there's the standard face you get on him in the box. Not too bad. I prefer the other one, so go ahead and lift up the head here, and then you're just going to pull off the face. And then take the next one and tab that in. So we'll just show for that one, I'm not going to show for the rest of them. But there is the smiling face. There's the smirking face. That's probably one of my favorites. There's the surprise, or I don't know what he's doing face. I'm not a big fan of this one. And there's the open mouth smiling face. And there's the standard yelling face. So good options there for different facial expressions. But of course you can get his blast effect here. There's 3 different blast effects. They all have a little peg in there. So you get that on there. And there's one. Pretty nice looking blast effects there. Here's the next one. So that one's kind of like just charging up. That one makes a lot more sense for the Megatron gun, which we'll look at in just a second. And then finally here's the kind of spread out blast effect. All those look really good. One last thing you can do with this null ray is you can take it out of there, fold that down, fold this handle down, and then you can get that pegged into the hand just like any other Masterpiece weapon. It is a little tough to get it into the tab. And now he can use his own null ray as a gun. So you can pull this handle down, go ahead and pull here. It is relatively tight there. And that's what it looks like. And that'll allow it to fit in his hand a little bit more gracefully. Go ahead and open up the fingers here. And I do like the way they've done the hands here. And basically peg that in. And then close the fingers around. You can get the trigger finger in the actual trigger. Very, very creative the way they've done that. Look at that. That's impressive. And just like I mentioned, you can use the blast effects. This one seems to make the most sense with the Megatron gun because Megatron had that kind of charging blast. But if you like, you can use all of the others as well. There's that long blast, and then here's the spread out blast. And one final feature, you can also store the Megatron gun on the back. Here's the little tab. Just like in the vehicle mode, you can attach it to his back there for storage, which is nice. The little claw from the one episode, it is fully painted in this purple. So in order to use that, you're going to come to this arm, open up this panel, flip the hand around, and then fold that back in. Close that panel back up. You'll see there's a little tab on the bottom, and that's going to fit right into here. There we go. So there is his claw hand from the one episode. Go ahead and open that up, and you get this little rock. And there are 2 little indents in there, so you do want to get those around the little grabbing part there. There you go. It holds it really well because it's got those 2 indents that are meant for the claw. You also get this drill, again from the one episode, and it works exactly the same way. Just peg it onto there. There you go. He can be drilling with that. And one final accessory here in robot mode, you can use the flight stand. So same peg system here that we had in the vehicle mode now appears in the robot mode. It's a little bit awkward because it's kind of low to the ground, but you get this pegged in. There you go. So it's a little bit awkward. I'll be honest, it doesn't work as well as the flight mode. It really needed to get taller, but you can use it here if you like. And for size comparison, there is Starscream next to the official Takara Tomy Megatron, Shockwave, and Soundwave, and fits in really nicely. I've heard some people saying he's a little bit on the short side. I don't mind too much. I think it fits in okay. Now, standing next to another Starscream, it might look a little bit small because most of them are a little bit taller than this. But for me personally, this fits in okay. So final thoughts on the Masterpiece Starscream 2.0. Let's start with the positives. It looks really awesome in both modes. I think they nailed the vehicle mode and they nailed the robot mode. The accessories are all really well done. The only ones I don't really care for are the drill and the little pincer with the rock. Those aren't useful for me. But everything else, I love blast effects. I love weapons. I love the Megatron gun. Those all look really nice. The stand is useful. Those are all good accessories to include. I think they're good inclusions. As far as the quality, I think it's pretty well done. It feels good. The paint's holding up. The joints are holding up. I don't feel anything that feels like it's not going to last. So overall, pretty good. I do have this little loose bit here. So negatives wise, there are a couple of little panels that don't sit perfectly. This pylon's also a little bit on an angle. It might be just my transformation, but it doesn't look quite straight. But those are nitpicks. I mean, other than those minor things, I think it's really, really well done. This is the definitive version of Starscream. It's going to be tough to beat for sure. I know there's other companies out there make toys, and also now Deformation Space. We'll see how those stack up. Of course, we'll do a versus, but I highly recommend this figure. I think they did a great job. It does feel worth the $250 price point. I feel like they've included enough, and they've included enough features, accessories, and just overall quality to make it feel worth that price. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.